The stars were quiet that night. Admiral Kang Taiho stood on the bridge of the Iron Wake, watching the endless black through the main window. His fleet of 12 warships moved through space like silent hunters. They were on a simple patrol mission near the edge of human territory. Nothing exciting, nothing dangerous, just routine work. Taiho was a tall man with gray hair and tired eyes. He had served in the United Earth Navy for 30 years. He had seen war. He had seen peace. He had learned that the universe was a cold place where the strong ate the weak. But he had also learned something else. He had learned that humans were different. The bridge was calm. Officers worked at their stations. The hum of the ship's engines was the only sound. Then everything changed. "Sir, we have a signal," said Lieutenant Commander Park Yuna. She was young, with sharp eyes and quick hands. Her job was to listen to the voices of space. Tonight she heard something that made her blood run cold. "What kind of signal?" Taiho asked. He did not turn from the window. "Distress beacon, sir. Universal frequency. It is very old technology." Yuna's fingers moved across her console. "The signal is weak. It comes from the Nix corridor, about 4 hours away at maximum speed." Taiho finally turned. The Nix corridor was dangerous space. Pirates and slavers used it to move their cargo away from patrol routes. No honest ship went there by choice. "Can you identify the source?" Yuna nodded slowly. "It is a passenger liner, sir. The ship is called Vellum Grace. Registry shows it belongs to the Orathi." A murmur passed through the bridge. Everyone knew the Orathi. They were a peaceful species, plant-eaters, gentle souls who loved art and music and poetry. They had no military. They had no weapons. They believed that kindness would protect them from the darkness of the universe. The universe had proven them wrong many times. "Play the message," Taiho ordered. The speakers crackled. Then a voice filled the bridge. It was high and thin, full of terror. "Please, anyone, we need help. They are boarding us. They are taking our people. Our children, please. We have no weapons. We cannot fight. They are Drevak. Slavers. Please. Someone. Anyone. Help us." The message repeated. Again and again, the same desperate words. Commander Shin Yunji stepped forward. She was Taiho's second in command, a strong woman with a calm face and a sharp mind. "Sir, the Orathi government is too far away. Their nearest ship would take 2 days to arrive. And the Galactic Council? They have no patrol ships in this sector. The Orathi never requested protection." Yunji paused. "We are the only military vessels within range." Taiho looked at his officers. He saw the question in their eyes. The Orathi were not human allies. There was no treaty between Earth and their world. Humanity had no duty to help them. The Galactic Council had warned other species to stay away from humans. They called humanity dangerous, violent, unpredictable. Deathworlders from a planet that tried to kill everything on it. Most aliens avoided human ships like they were plague carriers. "How many people on that liner?" Taiho asked quietly. Yuna checked her data. "Standard Orathi passenger vessel. Capacity is 3,000, sir. The manifest shows mostly families, civilians. There is a school group aboard. 200 children on an educational trip." 200 children. Taiho closed his eyes. He thought about his own grandchildren back on Earth. He thought about their laughter, their small hands, their trust that the adults in their lives would keep them safe. Somewhere in the dark, 200 alien children were being dragged from their parents. They were being put in chains. They were learning that the universe was cruel and no one would save them. "Sir," Yunji said carefully, "if we intervene, there will be consequences. The Drevak Confederacy will protest. The Galactic Council will condemn us for violating sovereign space. We have no legal authority here." "I understand. The politicians on Earth will be angry. They will say we started a war without permission." I understand. Admiral, Yunji lowered her voice. What do you want to do? Taiho opened his eyes. There was something cold in them now. Something old and hard and utterly human. Set intercept course for the Nix corridor. Maximum speed. All ships to battle stations. The bridge erupted into motion. Officers shouted orders. Alarms began to ring across the fleet. 12 human warships turned toward the darkness like wolves catching a scent. Yunji did not move. The Council will say we are proving them right. They will say humans are dangerous. Taiho sat down in his command chair. His hands rested on the arms. His face was stone. They called for help, Commander. That is enough. That is all the reason we need. And the Drevak. The Drevak made their choice when they attacked civilians, when they put children in chains. Taiho's voice was quiet, but it carried across the entire bridge. Now they will learn what happens when they do that in our part of space. We are not in our part of space, sir. Taiho smiled. It was not a kind smile. Space belongs to whoever is willing to fight for it. Tonight, that is us. The fleet jumped to hyperspace. 12 ships carrying 3,000 human soldiers raced toward the screams of strangers. They did not know the Orathi. They owed them nothing. But they went anyway, because that was what humans did. The galaxy called them Deathworlders. The galaxy said they were monsters. The galaxy was about to learn that monsters could be useful when they were on your side, and terrible when they were not. The human fleet dropped out of hyperspace like thunder from a clear sky. Admiral Kang Taiho saw the nightmare before him. The Vellum Grace floated dead in the black. Its white hull was torn open in 3 places. Air and debris leaked from the wounds like blood from a dying animal. Emergency lights blinked weak and red. The ship was dying. Around it, 6 Drevak raider ships circled like hungry beasts. They were ugly vessels, built for one purpose, hunting the weak. Metal tubes connected them to the passenger liner, boarding bridges. The slavers were already inside. Tactical report, Taiho ordered. His weapons officer, a young man named Beck Juno, studied his screens. 6 enemy ships, sir, light armor, standard pirate weapons. They are no match for us in a straight fight. The Orathi ship? Life signs still present, approximately 2,000. They are moving people through the boarding tubes. Juno's jaw tightened. They are loading them into cargo holds. Cargo holds, like animals, like products to be sold. Open a channel to the lead Drevak ship, Taiho said. The main screen flickered. A face appeared. It was reptilian, covered in dark green scales. Yellow eyes with slit pupils stared at the humans with amusement. This was Korvul, warlord of the Drevak raiding fleet. He wore golden chains around his thick neck, trophies from his victims. Ah, the pink skins, Korvul said. His voice was deep and rough. I have heard stories about your kind. Deathworlders, yes? Very scary. He laughed. The sound was like rocks grinding together. But you are far from home, little humans. This is not your hunt. Go away, we have no quarrel with Earth. Taiho did not blink. You have 60 seconds to release every captive and surrender your vessels. This is not a negotiation. Korvul's laughter died. His yellow eyes narrowed. You threaten me? You are 12 ships. I am 6. But I have hostages. Thousands of them. If you attack, I will kill them all. I will space them into the void. Is that what you want? 50 seconds. You are bluffing. Your kind cares about soft things, morality, justice. You will not risk innocent lives. 40 seconds. Korvul leaned forward. His teeth were sharp and yellow. I have been raiding these lanes for 20 years. I have taken 100,000 slaves. No one has ever stopped me. Not the Council. Not anyone. What makes you think you are different? Taiho stood up from his chair. He walked closer to the screen. His face was calm, but his eyes were not. 30 seconds. And the answer to your question is simple. We are different because we do not care about the rules. We do not care about politics. We only care about one thing. And what is that? Saving those people and making sure you never hurt anyone again. Corval stared at the human. For a moment, something flickered in his yellow eyes. Doubt. Fear. But then it was gone, replaced by anger. "Kill them," he ordered his crew. "Kill them all! Target the human flagship!" The Dravac ships opened fire. They never got a second shot. The human fleet responded with overwhelming force. Missiles and energy beams lit up the darkness. 2 Dravac ships exploded in the first 3 seconds. A third was cut in half by concentrated fire from the Iron Wake. But Taiho was not satisfied with destroying ships from a distance. He wanted the hostages. He wanted them alive. "Launch boarding parties," he commanded. "All ships, now." Captain O Minho was ready. He stood in the launch bay of the Iron Wake with 200 Marines at his back. They wore powered armor that made them look like metal giants. Each suit could survive hard vacuum. Each suit made its wearer 3 times stronger. Each suit was designed for one thing: close combat. The Marines launched toward the remaining Dravac ships in fast assault pods. The enemy tried to shoot them down. They failed. Human pods were small and quick and built to survive. Minho's pod crashed through the hull of Corval's flagship. Metal screamed. Air rushed out. The Dravac crew stumbled in the sudden vacuum. The humans did not stumble. Their armor had oxygen. Their armor had gravity boots. Their armor had weapons. The fighting was short and brutal. Dravac warriors were large and strong. They had claws and teeth and years of practice killing helpless victims. But they had never fought humans before. They did not understand what they were facing. Humans came from a world that tried to kill them every day. A world with earthquakes and hurricanes and volcanoes. A world where even the plants could be poison. Humans had evolved to survive anything, to fight anything, to win against anything. Minho killed 4 Dravac in the first 10 seconds. His plasma rifle burned holes through their armor. His combat knife found their throats. He moved through the ship like a ghost made of metal and death. His Marines did the same, room by room, corridor by corridor. The Dravac fell. Corval tried to run. He made it to the cargo hold where he kept his new slaves. He grabbed an Orathi child, a small creature with silver fur and huge, frightened eyes. He held a blade to its throat. "Stop!" the warlord screamed. "Stop or I kill this one!" Minho stopped. He was 10 meters away. His rifle was raised. "You will not shoot," Corval said. "You care about the weak. That is your flaw. That is why we are the hunters and they are the prey." Minho did not lower his weapon. "Let me tell you something about humans," he said quietly. "We care about the innocent. That is true. But there is something we care about more." "What?" "Making sure predators like you never hunt again." Minho fired. The plasma bolt was precise. It hit Corval's shoulder. The warlord screamed and dropped the child. Minho crossed the distance in 2 seconds. His armored fist crushed Corval's wrist. The blade clattered to the floor. The child ran to the other Orathi, crying. Safe. Corval looked up at the human towering over him. For the first time in his life, he knew fear. Real fear. The kind his victims had felt. "What are you?" he whispered. Minho grabbed him by his golden chains and dragged him to his feet. "We are the answer to every prayer your victims ever made. We are what happens when monsters meet bigger monsters." He threw Corval to the ground. "And we are just getting started." The battle was over. The silence that followed was almost worse than the fighting. The Orathi survivors huddled together in the few sections of their ship that still had air. They were 2,000 souls who had expected to die. Mothers held their children. Old ones comforted young ones. They shivered not from cold, but from fear. They had heard stories about humans. Everyone in the galaxy had. The Deathworlders from the Poison Planet, the species that ate other animals, the warriors who never stopped fighting. Many Orathi believed humans were monsters, just like the Drevak, maybe worse. So when the airlock opened and armored giants walked in, many Orathi screamed. Some tried to run. There was nowhere to go. Then something strange happened. The giants took off their helmets. Underneath were faces, strange faces with small eyes and flat features. No fur, no scales, just soft pink skin. And on those faces were expressions the Orathi did not expect: kindness, concern, gentle smiles. Ensign Han Sora was one of the first medics to reach the survivors. She was small for a human, with long, dark hair tied back and steady hands. She carried a medical kit instead of a weapon. She knelt beside a wounded Orathi child whose leg was badly cut. The child's mother pulled her daughter back, terrified. She spoke in rapid Orathi, words Sora did not understand. But Sora understood the fear. "It is okay," she said softly. She pointed to herself. "Help! I help!" She showed her medical kit, bandages, medicine, healing things. The mother did not move. Her large eyes were wet with tears. Sora slowly set down her kit. She held up her empty hands. Then she did something that surprised everyone. She sat down on the floor. She made herself small, unthreatening. "I know you are scared," she said. "Bad things happened. But the bad things are over now. We are here to help. Only to help." Translator devices began to work. Her words reached the Orathi in their own language. Still, no one moved. Sora looked at the wounded child. The cut was deep. Without treatment, it would become infected. The child could lose her leg, could lose her life. "Please," Sora said, "let me help her. I have children in my family too, small ones. I would never hurt a child, I promise." Something in her voice reached the mother. Maybe it was the softness. Maybe it was the truth that all parents recognize in other parents. Slowly, carefully, she pushed her daughter forward. Sora moved gently. She cleaned the wound. She used medicine that numbed the pain. She closed the cut with medical glue and wrapped it in clean bandages. The whole time, she spoke softly, telling the child she was brave, telling her she would be okay. When she finished, the child looked at her with wonder. "You are nice, monster," the girl said through the translator. Sora smiled. "I am not a monster at all. I am just a person, like you." All around the ship, similar scenes played out. Human soldiers who had killed without hesitation minutes before now handed out blankets and food. They carried the wounded. They found lost children and reunited them with parents. They did not ask for anything in return. An old Orathi leader approached Captain Ominho. The captain still wore his bloody armor. His face was hard, but he bowed his head respectfully when the elder spoke. "Why?" the elder asked. His voice shook. "We are strangers to you. We have nothing to offer. We are weak." "Why did you fight for us?" Minho thought about the question. He had asked himself the same thing many times. "Because you called for help," he said finally. "That is reason enough. But the cost. Your people died for us. We saw some of your soldiers fall." Minho nodded. It was true. 7 humans had died in the assault. 7 families on Earth would receive news that would break their hearts. "Yes, some of us died. But all of you lived. That is a trade worth making." The elder stared at him. "I do not understand your species." "That is okay. Sometimes we do not understand ourselves." Meanwhile, Admiral Taiho interrogated Corvul in the brig of the Iron Wake. The warlord was chained to a metal chair. His golden trophies had been taken. His pride was broken, but his tongue was still sharp. "You have made enemies," Corvul hissed. "The Drevak Confederacy will not forget this. We have allies, powerful ones. You have started a war you cannot win. Taiho sat across from him, calm as stone. Tell me about your slaving roots. Why should I tell you anything? Because if you cooperate, you will face justice, a trial, prison. If you do not cooperate, Taiho leaned forward. I will give you to the families of your victims, the ones who survived. Corval's yellow eyes widened. He had seen what some species did to slavers when they caught them. It was never quick. You would not. You are civilized. You have laws. We have laws that protect the innocent. You are not innocent. Taiho's voice was ice. You have taken thousands of people, sold them, worked them to death, separated parents from children. You are not a person to me. You are a disease, and diseases must be cured. What do you want? Everything. Your roots, your contacts, your buyers, every slaver you know, every market you use, every ship in your fleet. Give me all of it and you live. Refuse, and I leave you to the judgment of the species you tortured. Corval looked into the human's eyes. He saw no bluff there, no mercy, only absolute certainty. He began to talk. Hours later, Taiho returned to the bridge. Commander Shin Yunji was waiting. We got it all, he told her. Every slaving operation in 3 systems. Bases, ships, names. What will we do with it? Taiho looked out at the stars. Somewhere in that darkness, more innocent beings were suffering. More children were being sold. More families were being destroyed. We are going to end them, he said. All of them. Yunji studied her commander. She had served with him for 10 years. She had never seen him like this. The Council will not approve. The Council has done nothing for centuries while millions were taken. Their approval means nothing to me. Taiho turned to face her. We answered one distress call tonight, but there are thousands more we never heard. That ends now. The Drevak think they are hunters. They are about to learn what it feels like to be prey. The fleet began its long journey home, carrying survivors and prisoners and a promise of war. The galaxy would never be the same. The news traveled faster than any ship could fly. Humans had attacked the Drevak. Humans had freed slaves. Humans had captured a warlord and taken his secrets. The story spread from station to station, from world to world, until every species in the galaxy knew. The reactions were mixed. The powerful species were nervous. They traded with the Drevak. They bought cheap goods made by slave labor. They looked the other way because it was profitable. Now they worried that the humans might look at them next. The weak species were hopeful. For the first time in memory, someone had stood up for the helpless. Someone had said no to the slavers. Maybe the galaxy was changing. The Drevak Confederacy was furious. Their leaders gathered in their dark council halls and screamed for revenge. They demanded that the Galactic Council punish humanity. They called the humans barbarians, pirates, and criminals. They wanted blood, but beneath their anger was fear, real fear, because humanity was not stopping. 1 month after the rescue of the Vellum Grace, the United Earth Navy launched Operation Silent Thunder. It was the largest military action in human history outside of Earth's own wars. 50 warships, 10,000 soldiers. One mission: end the slave trade forever. Commander Shin Yunji led the ground assault on Drevak Prime. The planet was ugly and hot, covered in factories and markets where living beings were bought and sold like meat. The largest market was in the capital city. It held 12,000 slaves from 60 different species. The Drevak did not believe humans would actually attack their homeworld. They thought it was a bluff. They thought wrong. Human dropships fell from the sky like rain. They crashed through buildings and landed in streets. Marines in powered armor poured out, firing at every Drevak soldier in sight. The fighting was fast and brutal. Yunji moved through the slave market with her rifle raised. The cages were everywhere, rows and rows of them. Inside were beings of all shapes and sizes. Some had fur, some had scales, some had feathers. All of them had the same look in their eyes: hopelessness, despair. "Break the locks," Yunji ordered. "Get them out, all of them." Her soldiers obeyed. Cage after cage was opened. Chains were cut. Beings who had not walked freely in years stumbled into the light. A small creature with blue skin grabbed Yunji's leg. It was a child, no bigger than a human toddler. It looked up at her with eyes full of tears. "Are you the Sky Warriors?" it asked. "The ones from the Death World?" Yunji knelt down. "Yes, we are from Earth. My parents said you were coming. They said you would save us. They said the monsters would help us." The child's voice broke. "My parents are gone. The bad ones took them away." Yunji felt her heart crack. She had seen too much today. Too many broken families. Too many empty cages where people had been worked to death. "I am sorry," she said softly. "I am so sorry we did not come sooner." She picked up the child and carried it to safety. Around her, thousands of freed slaves walked toward the human ships. They would be taken to safety. They would be fed and healed and given new lives. It would not fix what had been done to them. Nothing could do that. But it was a start. Far away on the space station where the Galactic Council met, Ambassador No Jiwon faced the fury of 100 species. "You have violated every law," the Drevak representative screamed. "You have invaded our territory. You have killed our citizens. This is an act of war." "Yes," Jiwon said calmly. "It is." The chamber fell silent. The council speaker, a tall being with silver skin and cold eyes, leaned forward. "Ambassador No, do you understand the consequences of what you have done? The Drevak Confederacy demands justice. They demand reparations. They demand the humans responsible be turned over for punishment." Jiwon smiled. It was not a friendly smile. "Let me show you something." She pressed a button. The screens around the chamber flickered. Images appeared. Terrible images. Slaves in chains. Children being separated from parents. Mass graves filled with bodies. Markets where living beings had price tags on their necks. Factories where workers died at their stations and were replaced the next day. For 300 years, "This has been happening," Jiwon said. "The Drevak have taken millions of beings from hundreds of worlds. They have sold them, worked them, killed them. And what has the council done?" Silence. Nothing. The council did nothing. You called it an internal affair. You looked away because it was convenient, because some of you profited from it, because you were afraid. She turned to face the full assembly. Humanity is not afraid. We do not negotiate with slavers. We do not look away from evil, and we do not apologize for stopping monsters. "You cannot decide what is evil and what is not," someone shouted. "You are not the judges of the galaxy." "Then who is?" Jiwon shot back. "You? The ones who let this happen for centuries?" She pointed to the images still playing on the screens. "Those are not criminals. Those are not prisoners. Those are innocent beings who were stolen from their homes, children who will never see their parents again, parents who died calling their children's names. That is what the Drevak did. That is what you allowed." She lowered her arm. "You called us Deathworlders as an insult. You were right, but not in the way you thought. Death comes for those who prey on the helpless. We are simply the ones who deliver it." The Drevak representative stood. "The Confederacy will not forget this. We will have our revenge. We will—" "You will do nothing," Jiwon interrupted. "Your fleet is destroyed. Your leaders are captured. Your markets are ash. The Drevak Confederacy is finished." She gathered her things and walked toward the door. "Wait," the council speaker called. "What happens now? What do you want?" Jiwon paused at the threshold. "What we want is simple. We want a galaxy where the strong protect the weak instead of eating them. We want children to grow up without fear of being sold. We want justice for those who cannot fight for themselves." She looked back at the assembled leaders. "You can help us build that galaxy, or you can stay out of our way, but do not try to stop us. Others have tried. Ask the Drevak how that worked out for them." She left the chamber. Behind her, 100 species sat in stunned silence. The humans had made their statement. The galaxy would never be the same. 6 months passed. The galaxy was changing. The Drevak Confederacy had fallen. Their government collapsed within weeks of the human invasion. Their warlords were captured or killed. Their slave markets were burned to the ground. Species that had lived in chains for generations walked free for the first time. But the humans did not simply destroy and leave. That would have been too easy. Instead, they did something that confused the galaxy even more. They stayed to help. Human engineers built hospitals on worlds that had never known medicine. Human teachers opened schools for children who had never learned to read. Human soldiers who had killed without mercy now handed out food and clothing to refugees. The same hands that had broken the Drevak now built homes for their victims. No one understood why. Admiral Kang Taiho was asked this question many times. The reporters and ambassadors and curious aliens all wanted to know the same thing. Why help? Why care? Why waste resources on strangers who could give nothing in return? His answer was always the same. Because it is right. Such a simple answer. Such a human answer. The galaxy had no idea what to do with it. The Orathi became humanity's first true allies. The gentle species that had nearly been destroyed by the Drevak now stood beside their rescuers as friends. Their ambassador traveled to Earth and spoke before the United Nations. "We believed we understood the universe," she said. "We believed strength meant cruelty. We believed power meant domination. We believed the strong would always eat the weak." She paused and looked at the humans filling the assembly hall. "You proved us wrong. You showed us that strength can protect, that power can heal, that the mightiest warriors can also be the gentlest healers. You changed everything we thought we knew." She presented a gift to Admiral Taiho, who had been called to attend the ceremony. It was a crystal sculpture, beautiful and fragile. It showed a large hand reaching down to lift a fallen figure. "This represents what you did for us," the ambassador said. "You reached into the darkness and pulled us out. You owed us nothing. You gained nothing, but you saved us anyway." Taiho looked at the sculpture. His old eyes were wet. "You owe us nothing in return," he said. "That is not why we did it." "I know," the ambassador replied. "That is exactly why we give this gift. Because you did not ask for it. Because you expected nothing. Because your kindness was pure." She bowed her head. "The Orathi will remember. When humanity needs friends, we will be there. Always." Not everyone was happy with the new order. Some species complained that humans were too powerful now. They worried that Earth would become a new empire, conquering the galaxy with fire and blood. They pointed to the destruction of the Drevak as proof. But the proof did not support their fears. Humans did not take Drevak territory. They gave it to the freed slaves, helping them build their own governments. Humans did not demand tribute or worship. They asked only for peace and trade. Humans did not conquer. They protected. The veterans of Operation Silent Thunder returned to Earth as heroes. Crowds lined the streets to welcome them home. Politicians gave speeches praising their courage. But the soldiers themselves were quiet. Captain O. Minho rarely spoke about what he had seen. When reporters asked about the battles, he gave short answers. When they asked about the slaves he had freed, he was silent for a long time. "I remember the eyes," he finally said. "The way they looked at us when we opened the cages. Some were afraid, some were grateful, but mostly they were confused. They could not believe anyone had come for them. They had given up hope." He stared at something the reporters could not see. That is what I think about at night. Not the fighting, not the killing, just those eyes. All those people who had stopped believing anyone cared. Ensign Han Sora continued her work as a medic. She exchanged letters with the Orathi child she had treated, the little girl with the silver fur. The girl was recovering well. She had started school. She wanted to be a healer when she grew up, just like the kind human who had saved her leg. "You made me believe in good things again," the girl wrote. "Before you came, I thought the universe was only darkness. Now I know there is light too. You are the light." Sora kept that letter in her pocket. On bad days, she would read it and remember why she had joined the Navy in the first place. Corval and the other captured warlords faced trial on a neutral station. The process was long and painful. Witnesses testified about the horrors they had suffered. Evidence was presented. Laws were applied. Some species wanted the warlords executed immediately. Others wanted them tortured. Humanity insisted on due process. "Even monsters deserve a fair trial," Ambassador Nojiwan explained. "Not because they earned it. They did not. But because we must be better than them. If we become killers without law, we become no different from the ones we fought." Corval was sentenced to life imprisonment on a cold moon, where he would never hurt anyone again. He would spend his remaining years watching recordings of his crimes, forced to see the faces of every being he had wronged. Some said it was too merciful. Others said it was worse than death. Admiral Kong Tai-ho retired from active duty 2 years after the war. His final address was broadcast across the galaxy, translated into 1,000 languages. "They called us dangerous," he said. "They were right. We are dangerous. We are the most dangerous thing many species have ever seen." He paused. "But danger is not the same as evil. A knife is dangerous. It can kill or it can heal. The question is who holds the knife and why." He looked into the cameras. "Humanity has made its choice. We will be dangerous for the right reasons. When the weak cry out and no one answers, we answer. When predators hunt the innocent and no one fights back, we fight back. Not because we are perfect, we are not, but because someone has to stand in the darkness and say no more." His words echoed across 100 worlds. "The galaxy feared us before they knew us. Now they know us. Some still fear, but others hope. They hope that when they call for help, someone will come. They hope that the darkness has limits. They hope that there are wolves who protect sheep instead of eating them." He smiled, old and tired but proud. "We are those wolves. We are humanity. And we are watching." The transmission ended. Somewhere in the dark between stars, those who preyed on the helpless heard those words. They looked at each other with new eyes. For the first time in galactic history, the hunters felt something strange. Fear. Because the Deathworlders were out there now, and they showed no pity to those who harmed the innocent. The galaxy had changed, and humanity had changed it.